Welcome to КьюАй, the show which gives thoughts wings, flies in the face of convention, and goes coo in the chimney of knowledge. Roosting alongside me this evening are Rich Hall, Phil Kay, Joe Brand, and Alan Davies. Now, before we sort the owls from the orioles, let me introduce the КьюАy Spot the Nostril competition. Your task tonight is to draw a picture of a kiwi. Right? A bird so odd that some think it's a missing link between mammals and birds, paying particular attention to the position of its nostrils. I will reward the best effort with a nest egg. You're staring at me with a kind of glassy look. You do know what a kiwi is?
Yeah, I've seen one in New Zealand. They're nocturnal. So you have to go in a little kiwi zoo thing. Right. And they have them in virtually every town. And there'll be someone's living room, and you'll go in, and there'll be a dark room and a little glass thing.
Oh.
National bird.
It is the national bird.
Never see it, can't fly. Rubbish.
But your task, whether you choose to accept it or not, Jim, is to draw one.
Alan.
Alan, sorry. Where did that come from?
What's the national bird of England?
I'll tell you what it is for women. Thrush.
Do you know what it is for men? Cock.
Sorted.
Cock and thrush.
Yes. Good name for a pub,
Good name for a pub.
There are pubs called the Cock Inn, aren't there? It's one of the odd jokes in Carry On, which is usually just saucy, where Charles Hawtrey is playing a detective, and he's following Sid James in Carry On Loving, I think it is. And he's sort of saying, you know, went for lunch, went to pub, the Cock Inn, had drinks with two other women, left Cock Inn.
I mean, that implies you've got a left cock and a right cock. Left cock in, your right cock.
So, cock, thrush, kiwi.
I've got to draw all three of them.
No, forget the cock and the thrush. Just draw me a kiwi, pay particular attention to the nostrils and where they are on the bird.
Imagine if your nostrils were just above your anus.
Good. Before we go any further, we want to know how you sound. So, Joe, sing to me. Rich. Phil. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's extraordinary.
Hang on.
I promise you, Phil did not know that. That's what it sounded.
Let's just check that again and make sure we weren't all having a hallucination. That's like up, rise and shine, good morning.
It is extraordinary. And Alan goes...
Fruity, 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 fruity.
There you are. Didn't guess that one, did you?
Oh, I did.
A little voice in my ear just told me that the national bird of England is the European robin, apparently. So, let's head south for the winter. So, Alan, what's the difference between an ostrich and a lion?
Why the stars? What's going on with the stars? Is that a clue?
Well, it's a kind of clue to this rather
An ostrich
weird story.
is
a
flightless bird with a very long neck, runs about 40 miles an hour, lays big eggs.
Correct.
And is edible, quite a delicacy. Farmed.
Yes.
A lion, king of the jungle, big cat, kill you with a single blow. There are many differences. Is there any particular difference you're thinking of, sir?
One of the most famous African explorers was the Scotsman...
David Livingstone.
David Livingstone, thank you, Phil. And he wrote that I can distinguish between them with certainty, this is by sound, only by knowing that the ostrich roars by day and the lion roars by night. He described the idea that lions have an impressive roar as mere majestic twaddle, and said that they sounded identical to ostriches. So, let's demonstrate that, all right? This is the sound of a lion. Yeah. And this is the sound of an ostrich. Yes, Phil.
David Livingstone was a hard-working Scot. He was working in the mines. His ears were damaged. He couldn't be blamed for this.
Don't you feel that actually Stanley was rather lucky that when he said Dr. Livingstone, I presume he wasn't shot because he was mistaken for a leopard or something?
If Siegfried and Roy had worked with ostriches instead of big cats, they'd probably still be working today.
That's a very good thought.
Although, Johnny Cash was attacked by an ostrich. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yes.
In
Very
Africa?
ferociously, yeah.
Really?
Never quite recovered.
Yeah.
They can kick you. I saw one kick someone
Yes.
in the Goonies on the telly the other day.
Yes, I saw that as well. Yes, I
He
did.
really caught him treating me.
So we get points just for being interesting.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know that in some countries, linoleum is a form of currency.
Now that's interesting. Is it true, however?
You said it was interesting, right?
So, in fact, we have a question for you now, young Rich. Explain how to French kiss a woodpecker.
You would have to seduce it. Yeah, you have to get it interested in you.
Right.
Put a toothpick in your mouth.
Woodpecker.
Say nice things to it. Oh, that's nice plumage. And you give it a date rape drug.
Should all else fail.
Yes.
Does French kissing mean kissing with tongues? Or
Yes. Sorry.
are you seeing anyone at the moment?
I'm sorry. Yes, with
I
tongues.
thought that's very attractive. Why would anyone want to...
They are very extraordinary things, woodpecker tongues. Let's have a look at a woodpecker tongue. You'll be astonished. There you go. Oh! It's one of the strangest things in nature. It's an amazing organ. It can extend to 2/3 of its body length. It's covered in sticky saliva, vicious barbs, and has an ear at the end of it, which you can listen to its prey. So it uses the beak for pecking at bark and making a
ear
hole.
at the end of its tongue.
Well, a thing that detects sound.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Absolutely. How does it fit into its mouth, you may wonder? Well, it has to wrap it round its brain and the back of its eye sockets. Funnily enough, woodpeckers are very popular on creationist websites because they argue this is such an extraordinary creature designed, you know, so fit for its purpose and so on, that only a designer could have made it. It couldn't have evolved. Apart from anything else, when it moves, sometimes up to 15 or 16 times a second, it beats the wood and to make a hole, which is incredibly fast and generates immense forces, 250 times more forces than an astronaut is subjected to. It's 1,000 Gs. And it has these extraordinary kind of little muscles and cartilages around its brain to sort of stop it from shattering. If the pecker's got wood, why go for tongue, you may argue. But it is a pretty astonishing animal.
Could we maybe have an offshoot of this programme called Quite Unnecessary? Can I be on that?
Absolutely. I just can't quite see how different it would be. Anyway, so, Phil, time for you. Does your bird like chocolate?
My bird?
Yeah. Does she like chocolates?
My bird likes chocolate, yes. It's very popular with...
Have you got a bird, then?
I don't know. Say you had a parrot, they'd like chocolate.
Would
Yes.
they?
Because, yeah, their hook beak's great for getting right into the toffee, you know. If you had a pelican, they don't like chocolate, they like toffee better, you know. And if you have an owl, they quite like chocolate behind them, because then they can rotate, you know. They show off. If you give a crow a Malteser, it's like, no way. You know. So my bird, no. You can't give animals chocolate because it's got something in it that makes them depressed.
Do you know, that's right.
You can't give chocolate to a dog because it's not right. And the dog, that's why you buy special chocolate for the dogs, which if you want to save money, you can still give the kids, tell them it's dusty and old, you know, like, you know, February chocolate, you know, Christmas chocolate's gone white and dusty.
Oh, I've eaten
you know,
dog chocolate.
Pet chocolate, have you eaten?
Yes, I have.
It's like a phrase, isn't
They
it?
are a
I've
bit-
eaten
yeah.
dog chocolate.
Yeah.
But it's different. It's
Yes.
part of folklore now.
Eat
So
dog
no, my
chocolate.
bird don't like chocolate.
It's a website.
No,
many
but a
points
bird
did he
doesn't
get?
like chocolate. You're quite right.
How many points does he get for that?
Well, he's correct. He'll get some points, perhaps, from our scorers if they're in the mood. How good is their sense of taste, birds, do you imagine?
Absolutely minimal. They've no need. It's a seed. I don't care. Get it in.
Yeah, yeah. They only have about 20 or 30 taste buds on their tongue. They could never distinguish chocolate from
I thought it was less
anything
than
else.
that, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
I thought it was 15 to 18.
And humans have how many, would you say?
25,000.
It's about 9 or 10,000, something like that.
Pretty close.
But they grow, new ones grow every 5 days. They last
5
about
days.
5 days, your taste buds. Of course, wouldn't they be able to tell what chocolate is, but it would be toxic, it would kill them.
Kill them?
Yeah, it's actually poisonous to us, but the lethal dose is quite high.
If you have a whole tin of Quality Street, would that kill you?
About 22 pounds is the lethal dose for a human.
That's nothing.
No.
Well, yeah, a little Smartie would kill a small songbird, for example.
That's quite...
You sick...
A friend of mine had a hamster and it wasn't very well, so her dad gave it a bit of brandy.
Lord, what happened?
Guess what happened next? Severe alcohol poisoning.
Terminal alcohol poisoning?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, dear.
Is he better? Go to bed. We'll see you in the morning. Get down the shops. Get down the shops.
When I was a teenager, someone I know gave their dog LSD. They went to Glastonbury.
I went into a friend's house, and at the top of the landing of their house, they had this sort of football, and in a merry mood, and there was an open window, and I kicked it through the window, very pleased, converted it. And I had never heard of these things that people who have hamsters have, these little balls where the hamster... I kicked my hamster right out the window, and it had bounced on it and gone all over the place. I felt
Did it
absolutely
die?
awful. No, it survived. It seemed perfectly cheerful. Have you seen these little balls you can... Yeah.
I really thought, God, that new ball I got for Christmas is bloody brilliant. But it's a pity Bill Bailey's not here, actually. They had a dog. Bill's girlfriend used to take it to work in an old people's home, and it used to eat entire boxes of Daz. And it would eat pants as well, and sort of like clean them.
A washing machine inside.
I
You
know.
can poo
And then
out some white
the pants would come out of its bum.
You'd have to go...
Yeah.
Really white.
Well, ish.
Yeah.
You know.
But you wouldn't pop them straight on. Let's put it that
That's probably true.
way. We had a cat that could open the fridge. So lie on its back like that with its paws under the fridge and then yank it open.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And then he was in. And he got the turkey out the fridge and had it halfway to the cat flap before we found him.
That's like Tom and Jerry, isn't it?
And then he was eating it really fast like that while we were running towards him. He went to grab him and he just jumped straight out the cat flap, hissing.
So, now, what weighs £6, covers 18 square feet, and has to be changed once a month?
Someone's got to do it. One of my sanitary towels. Sorry. No,
Oh, Bram! Did you think everyone else was about to leap in and say that?
Yeah.
I thought Alan might.
Oh,
Is that one of your sanitary towels up there? Do you have, like, wallpaper?
Yes, I have
the
embroidered
William Morris
ones.
rings.
I get them specially made by a lady-in-waiting of the Queen.
Outdoors or indoors? A flag?
It's something belonging to each and every one of us.
Skin?
Very good. Skin is the answer. The largest organ in the body.
Maybe in your body. I've got a huge cock.
I think we'll forfeit you to that. That's how predictable that was, thank you. You almost fell exactly into our trap. That counts as putting 1 foot into it, I reckon, so -5 to you. Yes, the skin. Extraordinary chap, the skin. Is a single square inch of skin. There are 20 feet of blood vessels. Just a single square inch of skin. Isn't that amazing? 1,300 nerve cells. Yep, and 100 sweat glands. And the cells of the human body are constantly being replaced. We lose about 50,000 cells a
Second.
Yes. People get through around 900 skins in a lifetime. Right. So, now...
True fact.
Here's a question. Does putting perfumed sachets in your drawers help conception?
Yeah. It will help conception, yes.
How so?
Because it'll give a meadow-like feel to the bedroom and everyone will be relaxed and ooh.
It will. It will certainly, in that sense, and there's an even more direct sense, which is rather astonishing.
Lavender? Is it to do with lavender?
It's not actually lavender. It's a very particular flower, the lily of the valley.
It helps your sperm count.
And it's even weirder than that. Sperm can smell.
Sperm can smell whether you've got clean underwear on or not. And if you have, it will come out to play.
Well, they can certainly smell the smell of lily of the valley.
Okay. Someone's sitting in a lab somewhere with sperm going, now, here's something.
Do you know what? There'll be people alive because of that research in a few years' time.
You have great faith in science.
The thing is, right, is that the only people that smell of lily of the valley are like old ladies, aren't
Yes, it's a yardley fragrance, isn't it?
It is
Exactly.
yardley.
Yeah.
So if you're an old lady, hey! I'm quite looking forward to it now.
Yeah.
You'll have
Well-
sperm chasing you down the bookies and...
See, it has long been a mystery as to how sperm can all go in the same direction so fast at the same thing, and whether or not the ovum puts out a scent trail. The closest we've got to discovering, I say we, or German scientists at Ruhr University, have got to replicating it is this particular scent called Borgiona, which is one that's used in the Lily of the Valley
They tried
perfumes.
other smells.
They've tried thousands of others, and this one makes them absolutely align and race towards them. And they're going to be using it in fertility clinics. Now, here's the thing. You have to work out what I'm talking about here. Two brothers, all right? Two brothers, they have a variety stage actor. One brother punches a member of the audience on stage, and the other brother is arrested. Why would that be?
Two brothers are doing a variety act.
They're Siamese twins.
You're absolutely right. Give them full maximum points. Chang and Eng Bunker was the name they eventually gave themselves. And they are why conjoined twins are called Siamese twins, because they came from Siam and got on the boat to America, where they made some money as a sort of entertainment act. I mean, they lived till the age of 63. They each married a pair of sisters and had 21 children between them. I know, it's hard to imagine, isn't it? It does instantly, the mind tries to conjure a scene of how it worked.
How many cocks did they have?
All right, no, they were just joined at the tummy, they had one each.
One each?
Yes, they did. They were not joined at the cock, which would be most unfortunate. They got on incredibly well. Though they did actually, on that boat journey from Siam, they had a fight about it. One of them wanted a cold bath and the other didn't, and the crew and the captain had to sort of...
Separate.
had to placate them, throw a bucket of cold water over them, I suppose.
The one on the left looks really serious.
He was the straight man.
Well, actually, one of them took to drink and the other didn't. But their systems are pretty independent, so...
Imagine that, your twin pissed that one. Come on, I'm getting you home. I love you.
Chang, perhaps, not unnaturally as a drinker, died first. And Eng woke up one morning to discover his brother had died and gave a great howl of despair, and they ran to fetch a doctor to try and separate him from his dead twin. And they came back and he'd coiled himself round his twin and died within an hour of this. And the post-mortem revealed that it was really just, in its day, it was called kind of a broken heart, but it's a sort of nervous shock. He had no reason to die. And it was...
A lot of comedy teams have broken up and they've done very well solo.
Thank you for that tender remark.
I'm feeling much better about deformity now we've talked it through.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a genuine dignity about it. There we are. What happened was, of course, that Cheng, who was the brother who landed the punch, the one who, of course, later became an alcoholic, was guilty of common assault, but the judge decided it would amount to false imprisonment to jail the other one, so he set them both free. So, some advantage there in being conjoined twins.
Licence to whack people.
So, on to our own version of this barbaric ritual that we call QI, and that's the general ignorance round. Fingers on buzzers for this, please. What is the loudest thing in the ocean?
The blue whale.
Blue whale? Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear, no. The song of the blue whale is nothing as loud as this.
You can hear it for 10,000 miles.
Another whale can hear it, but it's not actually in amplitude the loudest thing, in fact. Yes.
Must it not be the sea itself?
No.
Crabs.
At least not. I mean, it's
not
a
quite
crabs. Even smaller.
Lobsters.
Tiny baby.
Some sort of vibrating thing.
Well, no, you're doing exactly... What Alan is doing is exactly right.
I am doing is
animal.
exactly right.
Yeah.
That
Imagine 1 trillion things with little
Spanish
claws
Spanish dancers.
doing this.
Crayfish.
Lobsters.
Lobsters.
Smaller.
Shrimps.
Shrimps, yeah.
They're the loudest thing in the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, it's quiet
Yeah,
down there, isn't
that's
it?
right. It's called the shrimp layer, and there are trillions of them. And they do this at the same time. And it's not actually the claws banging together that makes the noise, it's the bubble of air popping that is created by this very fast thing. It comes out at 30 feet per second, this thing, and it then pops. And it can keep people awake. If they come inland quite near the coast, it can keep whole communities awake at night. Trillions of them, though. I mean, really vast. They can white out a submarine's sonar and deafen the operators through their headphones. Subs below the layer can hear absolutely nothing above it, and subs above it can hear nothing below it.
And they're floating in the water.
Yes, you can only hear by raising a mast through them. So, now, next question. What's more likely, being killed by lightning or by an asteroid?
Fruity, fruity, fruity.
Yes.
Lightning.
Oh, dear.
No one's ever been killed by an asteroid. That's rubbish. Prove it.
Now, oddly enough, I mean, I think it's a rather unfair, but because you answered it, in the UK, you're more likely to be struck by an asteroid, but in America, it's more likely to be struck by lightning. This is research into NEOs, near-Earth objects, as they're called, estimates that a large one strikes us once every million years. The resulting death toll is likely to be in excess of 1 billion. So the chances of you dying
Oh, please, that's never happened.
are 1 in 6 million in any year.
That has never happened.
No, but it's going to happen pretty soon.
No, it won't.
Well, more than 2 kilometres wide is all the asteroid needs to be. And we've seen certainly craters which show there have been ones much wider than that. And it's due at any moment. But
Where would you like it to land? I'd like it to land
wherever it lands, it's like hundreds and hundreds of atom bombs. It's going to destroy everybody.
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
They wouldn't mind. They'd just be delighted it didn't land in Lancashire. It come to Yorkshire.
Most people are struck by lightning on golf courses, right?
I believe that's true, yes.
My aunt got struck by lightning on the
You have an
golf
aunt?
course.
Oh, your aunt. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I do apologise. Pet aunt, you might do.
That too. She had a pet aunt. My aunt. Had a little pet aunt. She got struck between the first and second holes.
Oh, very good.
Something in her stance.
Now, where do camels come from? That's my next question. Phil.
Over there.
Usually out of the shimmering, miragey, horizon.
Yeah, true. And over there, you may be pointing in the right direction, actually. I can't quite tell whether to give you the points or not. Where do they originate from?
Oh, Africa.
Africa, did you say?
Yeah.
Not. No. Europe. Europe, did you say?
Yes.
Kensington World
Not Europe,
Adventure.
no. But that wasn't a forfeit one for some reason.
Asia.
Asia, did you say? Oh, what? There you are. You're desperate for those points, aren't you? Yeah.
Isn't it Australia?
No, it's not Australia even.
America.
Yay! Well done. You got some points back.
Really?
No.
Yep, they did. They did. They certainly
cigarettes,
did.
maybe.
Like horses and dogs. But no, the fact is, like horses and dogs, camels grew up in the grasslands of America 20 million years ago.
Rubbish.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, but the land masses will have been adjoined.
Well, Bering Strait was land then, exactly. In those days, they were more like giraffes or gazelles, in fact.
Yeah, the camel is the only other mammal, apart from humans, that smokes. Will actually smoke a cigarette and enjoy it.
Oh.
They
What
give
about
them,
beagles?
the camel handlers give them a puff and they... Not beagles hate it. And they inhale and exhale smoke. I totally made that up, that's rubbish. But it was quite a good one and it got you going.
It did get it. Well, they became extinct in North America during the last ice age, and unlike horses and dogs, haven't made it back there, except in zoos. So, next question. Why are flamingos pink?
It's what they eat.
Which is?
Shrimps.
Oh, dear. Oh, no. You really didn't know that, did you? You really were shocked
What
by
are the
that
chances of that? No, they do. They eat something that
They
affects
do.
their
It is food, but
pigmentation.
it's so not shrimps. It's actually, oddly enough, blue-green algae.
They stand on one leg because if they stood on... Because
If
they have to
if they
change
lifted
legs.
the other one, they'd fall down.
They'd fall... And their legs would rot. So they have to change them, otherwise the leg would rot.
Oh, is that right?
No, I made that up as well, but I'm doing it quite well. I've made twice. I made you go, is that right?
Despite the name, blue-green algae, as well as containing green chlorophyll, is rich in blue and red pigments, so its blooms are often red. Violet, brown, yellow, even orange. So from one silly bill to another, artists, we need to see your kiwis and judge accordingly. So, let's start at this end.
Yeah, what I have here is a sequential drawing of the nostril itself, there in situ, and here shedding, sneezing. So, as a flip of early movie footage, it's...
I've drawn the assembly instructions for a kiwi. Like you'd find at IKEA. And this is where you screw on the beak and C. The Phillips head screw. And that's the completed project.
Right, OK, very good. Joe?
I just sort of did colouring in.
Oh, that's so beautiful, though. And you've got the nostrils at the end of this crest.
I have.
We did discover, didn't we, in an earlier round, that birds have no taste. No. It's very charming. Excellent. So, Alan, let's have a look at yours. Oh, yes.
There,
yes.
I've done him. Now, that's him with his shades on.
Yeah.
Even though it's night.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't matter.
No.
And his nostrils are on the end of his beak for sniffing.
Well, that's extraordinary. Whether through some random act or whether through brilliance, you've got it absolutely spot on. That is where the nostrils are. The very end of the beak. How about that? Officially, you measure a bird's bill from the tip to the nostril.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, that's... I don't quite... Well, the measurement. So, officially, the kiwi has the shortest bill of all birds. Anyway, it frequently gets clogged up, its little nostrils, but they're very good sneezers. Yeah. So, let's count our chickens. And the final scores are, in first place, with a proud 3 points, it's Rich. And in second place with 1 point, it's Phil. In third place, with -8, it's Joe. For the proud and flourishing last, with -40, it's Alan. Let me leave you with one very extraordinary bird tale. Tibbles, the lighthouse keeper's cat, arrived on tiny Stevens Island in New Zealand at the beginning of the last century, and soon piles of small bird corpses began piling up by the back door. And the puzzled lighthouse keeper sent off some samples and was delighted to learn that Tibbles had discovered a new species, the only flightless perching bird in the world ever recorded. But it was unfortunately too late. By the time the news arrived, Tibbles had tracked down and killed every last example of what is now known as the Stevens Island wren. It's the only case of a single individual wiping out every member of a whole species. On that note, from Joe, Rich, Phil, Alan and myself, good night.
You can win quite unique prizes in the quite interesting quiz. Just visit the QI website at bbc.co.uk/, you guessed it, QI.